so glad our star is lit tonight. How lovely and appropriate. So tomorrow is the feast day of Epiphany. It's the end of the 12 days of Christmas and the beginning of the season of Epiphany, which we will commemorate from now until the beginning of Lent. And for many, Epiphany marks the day when the Christmas decorations are taken down and boxed up and put in the attic until next Thanksgiving or Halloween. You do you. No judgment here. But the significance is actually far deeper than just the end of Christmas. In fact, until the last 150 or 200 years, Epiphany was actually a bigger celebration than Christmas Day. And for those of us who didn't grow up following the lectionary or the church calendar, Epiphany is the season in which we focus on the divinity of Christ as revealed through the worship of Christ by the Magi, through Jesus' baptism, his transfiguration, and other events in his life. It is a reminder that the child whose birth we celebrated just 12 days ago is the incarnate God. It is a reminder of the lengths that God would go to share his love and redemption with the whole world. On Epiphany Day, we focus on the Magi, the wise men from the East who brought gifts to the Christ child. And we do this for a couple of reasons. One is what their presence indicates about who Jesus is. He is the King, the Messiah, worthy of gifts from powerful people from faraway places. Some suggest, as we heard in our songs tonight, that the gold represents Jesus' kingship, the frankincense, an incense used in religious ceremonies, his divinity, and myrrh, a burial spice, his humanity. But it is also a reminder of the inclusiveness of this Christ, who longs to draw all people to him, Jew and Gentile, rich and poor, powerful and humble. It is a reminder that this has never been just about us or the small circles that we create. It has always been about the whole world. And the presence of Herod in the story reminds us that there have always been those who oppose the kingdom of God. But for now, I want to direct our attention back to the Magi. Scripture doesn't tell us a lot of them. We don't know how many of them there were, only that they brought 3 different gifts. We don't know where they came from, just from the East. We don't really even know what it was that they were expecting to find. What did they know about this King of the Jews? Why did they think that he was worthy of worship? I wonder about these wise men. Scripture does tell us that they saw a star rising, and they knew that it was for the King of the Jews. I wonder what they felt in that moment on seeing that light in the sky. What compelled them to go searching for this king? When they saw that star, did their hearts lift? Did they feel that bubble of excitement and anticipation in their chest? Had they been waiting for a star like this to appear? Or did it come out of the blue, surprising them into reverence and action? One thing I caught in reading the text this time that I had never really noticed before is that the star seems to have disappeared somewhere along the way. They make their long journey to Jerusalem, but most of it seems to be without the star. And when they get there, they ask around, seeing if anyone can point them to the place where this newborn King of the Jews might be found. And once they meet with Herod and hear that the child will likely be found in Bethlehem, they set back out. And it is here that the star that they had seen rising reappears to take them to the place where they would find Jesus. This is so interesting to me. They traveled most of the way without the star, without a light to guide them, not really knowing where it was that they were going. I wonder what that uncertain journey must have been like. I wonder if they ever worried that they weren't going the right way or argued about which direction to turn next. I wonder if they spent sleepless nights tossing and turning and wondering if maybe they were on a wild goose chase, if they really would find this king that they were searching for. Or maybe they worried that they dreamed it all up or misinterpreted the signs. Maybe it was just a plain old star after all and nothing to get too excited about. But then, after it reappears and guides them to their final destination, I wonder if, when they found Jesus in the small house with his young, impoverished mother, they were surprised. Is this the sort of king that they had come to honor? Were they expecting a palace rather than a simple, borrowed home? Did they anticipate a tiny king wrapped in fine purple linen or soft silk instead of swaddling cloths? Were they expected to be greeted with power and privilege instead of ordinary poverty? Is this really where the star was supposed to lead them? I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like those magi might have felt in that moment. Confused, disoriented, sure, almost, that at some point I had seen a light, that I had felt that hope rise up in my chest at the implications of what that light meant. But sometimes it seems like I'm just stumbling around in the dark, groping for the way ahead and hoping about what lies around the corner. Our passage from Isaiah in the Old Testament is so beautiful. It depicts God as sheer light, and the people of God as reflecting that light back to the world. This light is so bright and so dazzling that it drives away all darkness. It's a light so full of hope and so full of beauty that all people who see it are drawn to it. But sometimes, when I look around, I see war and rumors of war. I see the rich benefiting from the oppression of the poor. I see my own complicity in that. I see churches finding ways to keep people out rather than bringing more people in. I see sickness and broken relationships and pain. I see darkness, so much enveloping darkness that I wonder if maybe the light wasn't just a trick of the eyes or a dream that I just wish was true. But then, every once in a while, more often when I'm paying attention, I see a cup of cold water given, or an ear ready to listen. I see mercy extended and justice sought. I see love of neighbor and care of stranger. I see healing and hospitality and hope. I see art and poetry, each a small pinprick of light, almost like stars in the night sky, reminding me that this light really does exist, and it's calling me to follow along, to come and to find the Christ. Part of the beauty of Epiphany is the reminder that what we are looking for may not look like what we expected. God often shows up right where we think he would never venture. And whatever it was that the Magi expected, Matthew tells us that when they found Jesus, they were filled with joy. And they ultimately gave their gifts, their praise, and their worship. So like the Magi, may we keep searching. May we trust that God is not only there on the other side of what we're looking for, but also right here on the journey with us. May we not get sidetracked in looking for our own way. May we not mistake other kings for the true king. And when we find Christ, may we offer him all that we have.
Amen.